First of all, I am always excited to talk about drum stuff, so please, you and anyone else, please message me if you want me to talk about drum stuff, because by God, I have been sitting here waiting for someone to message me to talk about drum stuff. So, any movement you make on drums is codified within the 40 rudiments. It sounds like a lot, but you don't need that much. You need singles, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Doubles, right, left, left, right, left, right, left. Paradiddles are a mix of singles and doubles, right, left, right, left, left, left. And flams, which are not simply a unison of two hits at the same time, but one hit comprising of two strokes, one high up, one low down. Practicing singles, doubles, paradiddles, and flams is very useful. And the way that I tend to practice them is with a metronome for 5 minutes at a time on each while I'm watching a YouTube video, because I am far too bored to do this normally. So, I'll sit around practicing singles, focusing on dribbling the stick, keeping that stick bouncing like a ball with my hand, rather than putting a lot of force in. You don't need to play hard. It's about keeping the stick in motion, and the power comes later. I'm mostly trying to do this with my wrist, not my arm, and not my fingers either. Wrist. Just bouncing that damn thing. If you're right-handed, practice with your left leading. If you're left-handed, practice with your right leading. You will find that bounce becomes very important for increasing your speed and power. If you want to play doubles, don't play fake doubles. That's two movements. 2 hits, 2 movements. A double is 2 hits for 1 movement. And it won't do that unless the stick is pointing toward the surface. Note the broken wrist. It doesn't hurt. It's not a real broken wrist, but letting your wrist flop down so it can bounce. If you lift the stick back up, it can't go anywhere. So break the wrist downward and let the stick bounce. Doubles can feel a bit weird, and if you're playing fake doubles, just to get the sticking, that's fine too, but be aware that high-speed doubles and everything else comes from the bounce. Paradiddles, again, a combination of singles and doubles, so everything I said applies. If you want to practice accents, practice in groups of 4, using the wrist and the bounce to get the roll, and the arm to get the accent. Sorry, 4s, there we go. Practice left leading. Then practice in groups of 2. Right, 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 right. But also practice leaning onto the right rather than off the right. Right, left, and right, left, right, right, left, right. All of this to a metronome. Again, arms for accents. All of this to a metronome, which means you can hear a nice steady click, which you want to get used to synchronizing with. I recommend you stomp while you do it. Stomp, 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 stomp. Right, left. Paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. Accents, 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 accents. All that kind of stuff. Again, I spend about 5 minutes on each of those. I aim for like half an hour of pad practice every session, and then I go to the kit to play if I'm going to do that. But you know, your time is your time. So consider little and often. 4 days a week is far more valuable than the amount of time you spend per week. The goal is to develop muscle memory, and this is a whole separate thing, but we can get into that another time. Oh no, I have another video about that. What else do I practice? Anything you can do with the hands, you can do with the feet. Singles, doubles. Much harder to play a real double as opposed to a fake double on the floor, but you can do it. Paradiddle, paradiddle, paradiddle. And indeed, flams, they're all valuable. The last thing, I suppose, is roughs, like these kind of quick, short right of rights. They kind of, you'll find they kind of end up being a combination of kind of a single and a double. So if you're really looking for stuff to practice, right, left, left, that kind of stuff can be useful. You can extend them as a roll, right, left, and you end up with all your roll rudiments. You can play them as doubles, all those roll rudiments. But those little roughs, you can also extend them into things like Hurtis, groups of 3. Right, left, which you can then left lead. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, I would say do all that at a practice pad. Remember, and part of this is conditioning and simply building muscle. The more muscle you have, the more muscle you have control over. Don't think about your speed. Think about your accuracy and think about your comfort. Everything else is derived from your accuracy, your comfort. And most importantly, that you are having fun doing this. I have so much fun at a practice pad. I really love it. But if you are hating this, do less time and go and do something fun instead, like play a kit or, I don't know, whatever people do for fun these days. The amount of fun you have will dictate your progress. And you don't need to become infinitely good. You need to become good enough to express yourself on the instrument. That is where you'll have the most fun, and it is where you will achieve the most. Don't become fantastically technical capable because you think you ought to. Pretty sure that's everything. And just for fun, my favorite thing in the whole world is playing one-handed rolls with accented threes, and then I try and stomp every three. Then I displace to the second part of the three. Then I displace to the third. And then I play the whole thing as alternating flams. Barrels of fun. Zing!